This place has always been more than just a seed production farm. It's really a venue and a hub for people who care about ecology to come together. Hi, I'm Julia, and I am an ecologist at Hedgerow Farms. Hedgerow Farms is a 300-acre farm in Winters. We specialize in growing wildflowers and grasses that are native to the state of California. So what we do is we actually go out into the wild, we collect small amounts of seed from native plants that are growing in the wild, and we grow them at our farm in order to make them available for bigger restoration projects. Our farm started over 35 years ago. Our founder, John Anderson, owned this land here, and he wanted to restore some of his land back to wildlife habitat so that he could get more quail and deer and native animals back on his farm. So he actually went out into the hills and started collecting seed himself and experimented with growing them in a farm context, going from a handful of poppy seed to turning it into a field of blooming California poppies. And so, what started as a passion project has really become an important piece of the puzzle for restoring nature in California. We get a lot of questions about how can you come and visit Hedgerow Farms. One of the easiest things you can do is you're always welcome to drive along County Road 88 and see our fields in bloom in the springtime. We just ask that you don't enter the field without permission, and you're welcome to stop and take photos and enjoy. But if you want to come and have a tour, you can contact us. We do educational tours. They're focused mainly on our mission, which is to restore habitat.
Here we have a great native performer. You can put this in a mix with perennial species.
They have an educational edge to them, so usually we're working with groups of people who have interest in learning about that. Every April we have a field day where we invite many people to the farm, I think between 100 and 180. It's a whole day event and it's a fundraiser for the California Native Grasslands Association. We have hay rides, we have walking tours of the farm. You're going to learn so much about California ecology. So that's a really great opportunity. We also love doing school tours. We enjoy hosting students from elementary through college to learn about what we do. We've had some really fun opportunities to work with nonprofits that are interested in getting into ecological restoration. So as long as there's an educational component to it, we are very interested in hosting you here at the farm. I'm an ecologist, which means that I went to grad school and studied restoration ecology to get my PhD. Go Aggies. I did a bunch of research on how we can conserve native wildflowers, specifically in vernal pools, which are a local ecosystem here in the Sacramento Valley that I really love. And so I think that's when I fell in love with wildflower blooms and grasslands. After I finished my PhD, I started teaching at Sacramento State. So I taught environmental studies and statistics. And then when I saw that this job was available, I was really excited because I saw it as this great place to keep teaching, but in a really different way, in a more public way. So one of the things I love about Yolo County is just how diverse the ecosystems are here. Everything from the river, creekside, riparian ecosystems with the shady oak to the grasslands and their super blooms, Berryessa, all of this area is just so full of places to explore. And then mixed in with the agriculture, there's all these people who really care about their land, who live here. And that is so special. And it allows us to do things like plant native hedgerows along our farm. When you drive around Yolo County, you're gonna see these long planted rows of native trees and shrubs and grasses. Farmers plant them there to attract wildlife to come to their farms. And so Yolo County is one of the first places in the state that ever started planting hedgerows, and it's because of Hedgerow Farms. So a lot of the wildflowers that we grow here, we get from wild spaces in Yolo County. So one of my favorite things to do is just hike around the area here. Cold Canyon, Stebbins Cold Canyon is one of the most beautiful scenic wildflower hikes you can do. A Saturday hike and then you stop into Winters and get a nice meal afterwards. It's just the best place to be. I feel so lucky that our farm is here in Yolo County. So if you live in the area and you want to try planting some native wildflowers in your garden, you can try planting our Central Valley native pollinator mix. And this is a mix that's specifically designed for folks who live in the Central Valley, the Yolo County area, and it's got a mix of about 12 different species in it. They produce beautiful blooms that will attract all kinds of pollinators to your yard. The best time of year to plant is in the fall, and then you'll start getting blooms from February through July. And you can buy these at Green Acres, which is a local nursery and supply store. Does that feel okay?
Perfect.